Welcome back, sports fans. This is the Race Companion Mountain Bike Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Neethling. You may know me from Moving the Needle podcast. Thanks for joining us. We are jumping into the race preview for the sixth round of the UCI Mountain Bike World Series. It will be held in Andorra. Has a long history in World Cup Downhill. Andorran Bike Park has been a staple of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup circuit since 2008. I was lucky enough to race that back in the day. Quite a few years ago, isn't it? It's also hosted 3 World Championships. We are back to the shorter course, which is higher up on the hill. It has been famous for that long, grueling course that drops all the way down into the Andorran little town there. But the faster, more simpler track you can call makes for some crazy, exciting racing. It is very exposed at the top, so wind can affect the race, as well as thunderstorms do roll through the valley at any time. You basically almost can't predict it. Now, the Power and Soul Bike Park is located in the heart of the Pyrenees. It's just a short journey from the Andorran border in Spain. It is 1.9 kilometers long and it drops 458 meters. So, yeah, action-packed track. Let's jump into the previous winners. Now, last year it was World Champs. The famous run by Loris Verger, claiming those rainbow stripes. It was awesome. He beat out Benoit Coulange, who's not having the best season so far. So can he bounce back on a track that he can ride very well? Then Finn Isles is in third, and he was also very good there the year previous. Are we going to see Finn Isles back between the tape? This really helped Danny Hart's season last year. Danny Hart was in fourth, and Anne-Marie Perron in fifth. The elite women, Valley Hall, took down Miriam Nicole over Tani Seagrave. Gracie Hemsworth was in fourth, and Lisa Bauman, who we'll chat a bit later, was in fifth. Something to note, though, is Nina Hoffman. Previous to this win she just took in La Tuile, this was her previous win back in 2023. So that's something to look out for. Now, how about Anne-Marie Perron coming back from surgery just 8 days prior to racing in the Tuile and managing a 10th place? Is he going to be a little bit stronger and fighting for potentially a top 5? Something to note is Ronan Dunn. He's in good spirits, but he did crash and was airlifted off, and they had to actually stop the race in La Tuile. So I'm not sure you should be putting him on your team. Pinkerton also crashed. Not sure if he's going to be racing or at least fit and healthy to put down a very good time. He's one of the few riders that has made it into the finals through Q1 at all the rounds so far. That's a bit of a bummer. And now in the women, we mentioned Miriam Nicole. We're not even sure if she's going to be back. So make sure you check the riders' Instagrams. Some of the articles online are helping us, but some of these riders are making last-minute decisions if they are going to race. So it is a bit challenging to pick your team, isn't it? Now let's deep dive this course. I've said it's ridiculously fast, which it is. It's somewhat one line. There's a few intricacies here and there. So I think precision and commitment is what it takes to win this race. Loïc Bruni was on an absolute tear. Now, you would think he's a man of precision, but as you saw in La Tuile, he's willing to also do some new lines. Jackson Goldstone is really pushing him to his limits. Now, let's jump into the podium picks. I just mentioned Loïc. He lives in Andorra. He was flying at the World Champs. If he didn't crash, he for sure probably would have taken that win. And he's mentioned he's not too worried about the overall anymore. He just wants to try and get a win over Jackson Goldstone. So does that mean he's going to try too hard? Or is that the reason he's going to smoke the field? Is he out for blood? I almost want to put him above Jackson, as crazy as that sounds. Jackson's going for 5 wins in a row. This has never been done before in downhill. I made a little bit of mistake when I said Danny was the last person to do that feat of 3 in a row. It was actually Anne-Marie Perron. So just sorry about that in one of the previous podcasts. I got to kind of heard it on the broadcast and it was stuck in my head. And then Sven and I talked about it that Anne-Marie was the last person. But now Jackson has tied Gwyn for the last person that has done 4 in a row. Gwyn did that in 2012. So that's a tall order. He's a man that seems to not worry about pressure. It is a track that should suit him somewhat, but as a lighter rider, I don't know if he's going to hold as much speed through some of those middle, flatter, fast bits. Time will tell, though. And then Loris Verger, our current world champion, won there last year, also makes his home in Andorra, riding for Commencel. All those things are good, but I don't know if that's going to bring you good vibes or add a little bit of pressure, a little bit of weight on those shoulders. In the women, I think it's going to be hard to bet against Nina. As much as Valley is due a win, she won the Worlds there last year. She'll have good vibes. Nina Hoffman, that was a commanding win for her in Latuil, so she'll be confident. She'll be stoked. Can she bring the energy to Andorra? And I mentioned she won there in 2023, so she does clearly suit the track. Tani Seagrave, will we see her in the podium? I think with a shorter track and how well she starts, she's been sort of fading a bit at some of these longer tracks at the bottom or making mistakes or blowing off track in Val de Sol, but her splits have been great. And I think after coming out the gate so quick in Poland, maybe even a surprise to her to be that sort of fast on the new bike. I know they're doing a lot of work on it. I think we'll throw her on the podium. And then maybe Marine Cabarrou, not the best race in Latuil, which was a bit of a surprise. I think she might bounce back as well, put her up there for a podium. Now, sleeper picks. This is the fun part. This is how you do well. I was surprised. I thought my picks from last week would have done very well, but someone else had Hugo Marini on his team, so he scored a lot of points, and he would have been sort of pretty affordable to put on your team. So here are my sleeper picks. Hugo Marini carries on with his form after making his first final. And then Joan Fernando Muñoz, after 11th place. He's the street racer we've come to know and love. And this is a track you really need to be courageous. It's fast. This is just flying past trees, rocks. It's quite gnarly, actually, to go fast. Maybe he's going to be a little sleeper pick, sliding him into the top 10, maybe the top 5. He's due some crazy result. And then Palazzari as well. These guys are affordable. They've been racing good all year. Potentially something to put on your team to try sort of gamble a bit. And then my last sleeper pick is Gwyn. Gwyn, I think it was 2023. He was on pace for a podium and even a win, and he had like a little error. I think it was 2023. He suits this track. I think dipping his toe into World Cup racing is a challenge. He had a good qualifying in the Latuil with an error or two, and then the final I just don't think went his way. But now this is second week in a row. He's kind of gauging what World Cup pace is after he takes a round or two off. So look for Gwyn to be strong. Then in the women, Jess Blewett coming a very strong race in Latuil, and then Lisa Baumann, 5th at World Champs in 2024. Those should be, well, I don't think Jess Blewett is that cheap for your team, but I think she's building and could have a really nice race. Let's look at the Fantasy League updates. Now, in first place, you've heard this name before, is Baggy at 5,397. Good for him. Not a big lead over Slong Q. Probably said that wrong. Probably going to keep saying it wrong unless someone, I don't know, sends me a voice note, which I don't know how you're going to do. Darren Wilcox, you're in third place. Good job. Scott Kelly in fourth. Sketchy, you're in fifth. Chris 452 in sixth. And Julian G in seventh. So just to recap, Latuil, McNabb, you were the leader. You luckily got a header against me. I mean, I quoted my team. Man, I was actually really fired up to try take a win, but it didn't happen. I'm going to have to reset my team, come out swinging for Andorra. Guys, don't forget, there's still time to head to theracecompanion.com, set your team, play for prizes in the Global League, or even create a league of yourself and invite your mates. Remember, there are prizes for each round as well as an overall. This post show drops after every round. It's a little summarized version, but don't forget to go to Moving the Needle podcast on my channel on YouTube and all the audios. I do a way longer deep dive analysis. Check me for MTB news and bigger long form interviews with some of the sports greats. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until the next one, peace.